Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to BiblioTech On Air. I'm Rosanna.
I'm Israel.
I'm Lewis.
And I'm Ruby.
And today we're going to be going over a comic series available on Hoopla called 8 Billion Genies, and Israel's got some more information.
Yeah, so 8 Billion Genies, it's by Soule and Ryan Browne, published by Image Comics. It's a comic series that explores a world where every person on Earth suddenly gains a genie and one wish. So it leads to chaos, creativity, and unexpected consequences. The story follows a diverse group of characters as they navigate the fallout of their wishes, revealing how desires shape humanity's future in surprising and often darkly humorous ways.
Yeah, so the basic story follows a cast of about 8 or 9 or so who all find their way to the Lampwick Inn, which is the kind of main setting for the beginning of the story. It's run by a bartender named Will, and the group of characters who find themselves in the Lampwick are a father, Ed, and his son, Robbie, and his wife and Robbie's mother, June, who he brings back to life with a wish. And then there's also the Fangs, who are a husband and wife who end up having their child in the Lampwick. And there is a band called the Bada Bangs, and it consists of the 3 members, Daisy,
Alex.
Yeah, Daisy, Alex, and why do I always forget his name?
Brian.
Of Daisy, Alex, and Brian. So those are the characters that we follow through the beginning of the story, and as they make their way out into the world later in the story. We have a few questions that are going to guide our discussion, so I'm going to jump right into it. So if this happened to us, what would you wish for? Would you use your wish, or would you save it for a perfect opportunity? What do y'all think y'all would do?
I feel like I would want to save it, but then I would be stuck on trying to wait for the perfect time and the perfect wish that I would never use it. Like some of the characters did in the book.
Yeah, those characters that saved their wish for like a long period of time, they got wish locked.
Yep.
Right? Where they thought of like everything that they couldn't wish for, and they couldn't wish for anything. I would think of my family, so I think I would save my wish as well. But inadvertently saving my wish would kind of get me wish locked as well. So I might just wish for the best dinner in the whole wide world for us, because also Kim will have a wish.
Yeah.
Jason will have a wish.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll go to El Futuro, right? And we can take Jason there, and he can't use his wish till he's 25.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Rosanna, how about you?
I would like to think that I'd save it for a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a moment where I'm like, you know what? Let me get a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Let me get a PlayStation
something
5.
dumb. But I'd like to think that
Yeah.
I would save it for, an emergency, or like for my dogs or my family or something.
Actually, I changed my mind. I would want to get like a cul-de-sac for just me, my friends, and family.
Oh, wow.
And,
Compound.
And yeah, there you go, compound. And just try to make it like protected as well. If
Nice.
you're just super detailed with your wish, like apparently that's it, you're good.
Yeah, which we do see.
Yeah.
The idea man. Yeah,
Yeah.
super detailed with
So
his
you're going to
wishes.
start a cult. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, given how things end up going in like the kind of apocalyptic setting of the story, honestly, would a cult be so bad in that situation? It wouldn't be the worst.
It would.
Definitely not.
I think I'd be a
depends.
good cult leader.
You know what? I believe in you.
I join it as long as my dogs can come too.
I also believe in you, but not enough to join Ruby.
Well, I'm just going to be hanging out with Ruby then. But honestly, in terms of my own wish, I am almost positive I would become wish locked. I am a very indecisive person. I would also, if I could think on my feet, I would want to protect the people around me, much like Will does with his bar. But if I wanted to spend it on something like selfish, which I know I'd be tempted to do, shapeshifting would be cool, man. I would like to shapeshift.
Ooh,
That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Sick.
Beast Boy.
Yeah, but I know that I wouldn't spend it on that because, again, I would get so lost in like what is the best practical way to spend this wish that I would just never use it.
Unless you're like Daisy and you just waste your wish like right away.
I wish for a number 2
yeah.
pencil.
A number 2 pencil.
I just really need one right now, and I can't find one.
No, I want the coveted number 3 pencil.
Daring today, aren't we?
Yeah, and I kind of alluded to this, but it kind of, the fallout from the genies popping up, they end up calling it G-Day, which I always thought was really, really funny. They like the outcome of a bunch of people's wishes, especially right away, like the impulsive wishes that people immediately use, kind of leads to the end of the world as we know it, and as the characters know it. And I personally think that their way of exploring the apocalypse, like the perspective that this comic takes, is super creative compared to other ones I've seen. And I'm curious what y'all think about that.
Well, I think because too, the reason why all these genies pop up was because the human population reached that 8 billion mark. So as soon as the human population reaches 8 billion, boom, all the genies come up because they suspect that it's gonna just wipe out like easily more than half of that population. But it was a really, really great take on the apocalypse. I like that it wasn't like in the beginning. It was very like fantasy land. There's just like like I don't know, creatures with lasers on them roaming, and people that become superpowered humans as well.
Villains.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Dinos.
Vampires.
Yeah. I like the way they portrayed it. I'm just kind of piggybacking on what y'all saying. I think it was very creative. I like their set of roles within the universe as well.
Yeah.
I just wonder how much thought Charles and Ryan had to give to this, kind of thinking of everything. And I wonder if they had any aha moments where they're like, "Oh, this is what's gonna work." You know, like, "Oh, we thought of this, but you know, this is gonna cancel this out. But oh, let's just do this." I think they did it great. I believe Amazon or Netflix picked it up for a show.
That's crazy.
So I'm super excited to see that come out. Who knows when, but hopefully soon.
Animated or live action?
I'm not sure.
Animated would be great.
I just heard that.
Animated would be very, very.
Because I feel like there's such a level of creativity with the visuals that like animated would be just the best way to bring it to life, in my opinion.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. But I will say, on the like, from their perspective of the apocalypse, I love that it's a silly story. People make a lot of silly wishes. People make a lot of silly decisions, but like it still takes those decisions seriously in that like, okay, we're going to have 1,000 kaijus roaming through Chicago. What are the actual literal consequences of that? And it just, it's never, it always feels like this is exactly what people would wish for in the world that we live in. But those things would have consequences. I think someone brought up the lightsaber thing.
Because there was a big fire that wiped out a majority of the town. And they're like, why would someone wish for this fire? But then one of the genies is like, no one wished for the fire. Someone just wished for a lightsaber, and they just didn't know how to use it. So that's how that happened.
And kind of on the topic of how wildly creative this thing is, the visuals in this comic are insane. They're super, super creative. And also just very rich. Like if you look in the background, there's always something happening. There's always something telling you about the characters. Were there any visuals in particular that really stood out to y'all?
Definitely the between chapters where you would see the image of the world and the total of the populations and the genies. You could see the world slowly like descend into chaos, but then as you get closer to the end of the of the graphic novel, you kind of see the world restoring itself gradually. And I thought that was just really cool to see everything that like, just that mass progress.
Yeah, definitely. This was a highly visual comic, right? The colors, the creativity. Small Israel would have ate this up. Yeah. Oh my God. I do want to give a shout out to one of the variant covers of, I think it was issue 8 of 8 Billion Genies, obviously, but it was a little homage to Kelvin and Hobbes. And so it was, one of the genies was like Kelvin, and then there was a dinosaur, which is like reminiscent of Kelvin, and when he like kind of visualizes like dinosaurs and like freaking jets flying. That was amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that was made for you.
Really, really. Like I saw it and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. This is so cool. But one of the visuals that stood out was when the Idea Man is talking to the lawyers, and the Idea Man's like, well, I can just kind of like, impose myself on ya, and the lawyers are just like, are you sure, man? And they have all these like genies come out, and it's awesome and epic.
Bring on the war, the genies.
Yeah.
And then one other visual that really left an impact on me was Robbie. One of the other superheroes, because Robbie wishes to be a superhero to protect his family. One of the superheroes dies. I guess the lead superhero of their little troop. And Robbie's like, man, I'm only like 9 years old. And he's like, oh, I'm only 11.
Yeah.
That was I really like that.
Super impactful. because all of them do look like grown superheroes at that moment, because that's what they wish to be.
Yeah.
But like, you know that they're kids, you know, and they're just starting to fight this war that they really shouldn't have gotten into, being so young. A visual that I love is there is a moment in the comic where there's this person who's in like the Arctic who's like a conservationist, and he is just like which is a common theme in the comic of just like people making wishes for the world that was, as opposed to the world that is becoming and that ends up being. He's just sitting there kind of like early on. He's like, okay, I can reverse global warming with a perfectly worded wish. Like, I know exactly what to ask for in order to make sure that this world can still like live. We can still sustain this world. And then he looks up to the sky, and somebody has wished for Santa Claus to be real, and somebody has wished for the moon to have a face, and Santa Claus like rides by in a sleigh with his reindeer past the moon, and the moon just gobbles them up and just like breaks the sleigh, and the guy's just kind of looking up in horror. And I think it's not only funny and really, really cool, like I would get a tattoo of that, I'm not joking, but also it's just such a good signifier of like, yeah, man, that would be great if literally everything else wasn't happening.
Yeah.
My favorite were the genies. I love how they were just chill little guys, just in the background doing their own thing. I mean, because some people weren't using their wish until like
very
centuries later. So they're like, what else are they gonna do? Just kind of chill, especially in a bar. Some of them were drinking, having a good time, just like knocking off. So,
and they would kind of like age with the person that they were like the genie, and I think that's so cute.
I'm glad that they chose to do that. I think that's a really nice touch to it.
Yeah, because all the genies already kind of like take on like a bit of an attribute of who they're assigned to. So the fact that they would kind of like start getting like crow's feet and like wrinkles and stuff on these like little baby faces is so cute. Getting into how the main cast ended up using their wishes. Like we said, Robbie ends up wishing to become a superhero to protect his family. I believe
Mr. Fang wishes to like for a set of armor to also kind of defend his family, get where he needs to get. Daisy wishes for Brian to love her or like her. Alex, Brian, Daisy, Alex and Brian choose to combine their wish so that Alex, Daisy, and Brian can get into Fun City. But yeah, that's just some of the notable ones for sure. Yeah,
and I was gonna ask, like, in terms of how people ended up using their wishes, is there something that y'all would do differently? Do you think that some of them made like really smart decisions? Some of them made really dumb decisions. What do y'all think?
Well, obviously Daisy you wasted her wish on a man, nonetheless.
But which it doesn't end up affecting him at all anyway, because he's in the lamp wick when she wishes that, and nothing can get through the lamp wick. So.
Because Will, he had a very thought out wish. He was like, I wish for nothing to be able to affect the lamp wick or anyone in it, which I think is pretty all encompassing for that little spot, and very good choice for a safe haven, I think.
And spoiler alert, it's because he's a genie, so he knows how this is all going to go down. That's why he makes that wish.
Yeah, which, I mean,
is it fair? That's another discussion.
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect time to have that discussion. But I don't know. I wouldn't give so much flack to Daisy though. I feel like, a lot of people just impulse is like, I wish for this. That's exactly what happened. Kind of like I wish for the number two pencil. It's like that's while it may be dumb, it did impact the story, because maybe if she didn't make that type of wish, she wouldn't have stayed. Or maybe something horrible would have happened. On the topic of wishes though, some wishes do cancel each other out. Right. Like, so for example, you see this United States government, they wish for like to be the number one nation, but then North Korea also wishes we want to be the number one nation. So we get this like awesome scene where they're calling each other, and like North Korea is like, I want all your missiles, I want all this, and I want Denzel Washington.
I will say one of the wishes that ends up being like kind of the most insidious to me in the story is the Idea Man's, because he is just, there's like a brief flashback where it's like, this is who he was. He was kind of like a nobody. Nobody was listening to him. No one believed in him. And he wishes just simply for, I wish that people would always believe in me. And instead of taking that as like okay, like now I need to do right by these people who are following me, he takes this and he exploits this to every extent that he can. He basically starts a cult.
I was like, he is the cult leader.
Yeah, and he's just like, listen, these people will do whatever I want. They will give me their genies. They'll give me their wishes, because all I have to do is ask them like, hey, do you believe in me? And because of my wish, they're going to be influenced to say yes. And he ends up leading like Robbie into I think the way Robbie puts it, like later when he's about to toss him into orbit, is like, you gave a child 25 years of blood. Like he has Robbie, who is just trying to find a safe haven for himself and his family. He puts him at a top military position because he's a superhero. And he just exploits that, and it's just a really terrifying like few decades of like this guy just like trying to wage war on the other safe havens because he wants to lay claim to the world. Yeah,
and the idea man also, he wishes for his wife and child, and to sort of like trick everybody, he tells a genie to be by each of them all the time, so as to like, you know, keep this facade on, which is just and
June sees right through it though, because June, who goes with Ed and Robbie to the safe haven, she's also a remnant, which is someone who is wished either back from the dead or just wished into existence, and when the person who made that wish passes away, they go away as well. And because June is a remnant, she sees the idea man's like wife and child, and she's like, something's not right, man. Like, because you can kind of like sense it.
I will say that one wish, and I know I mentioned this previously, was I get the significance behind it. It was Betty, the daughter of Li Shang and Wang.
This is towards the end, right?
Towards the very end, where she and Daisy are both at the bar, and she's kind of like, Daisy, give me your last wish. You know, I deserve to have it. But then after a conversation and they kind of reflect on their life, they're like, okay, well, you know, Betty's like, I don't deserve to have it. You know, take the last wish. And she wishes her genie away. She goes, I wish to not have a wish. It's great. I love that it's for the story. And, you know, it's very significant of her character progress, excuse me. But with that said, girly pop, wish for like a dinner or something. Wish for like, I wish for a rotisserie chicken. I wish for like the best pizza in the world. You know. But again, I get the significance behind it.
Definitely.
That's just something I would have done in that situation. Like I wish for a really good cup of tea.
But who's to know that, you know, she's been living for 800 years. I'm sure she's had the best of the best, you know, with a genie, still having a genie, and maybe she ate before.
Maybe
she got to the bar.
She ate everything that she already ate. There is.
She ate before.
Maybe she was on a diet. You don't know.
Maybe the suit that she was wearing just sustained her. Like, we didn't ever see
tube in it.
Anyone eating.
Yeah.
We see them drinking.
Yes, we see them drinking a lot.
Interesting. That's a very good point. Yeah, we
because it's like an echo of her father's suit, or it is her father's suit in a way, isn't it? So, but again, I understand for character process, for the story, all of that.
For the plot.
Exactly.
And kind of similarly, did y'all have like a favorite storyline? Did you have a favorite character to follow through everything?
I loved Ed and June and oh my god, Robbie. Yes, I loved their storyline. I feel like that's very an emotional storyline. Robbie is like 10 years old and wants to protect his family, you know, his parents. So he's doing so much. He even goes and starts fighting for the idea man just to give his parents like a safe haven. So that I thought that was pretty impactful. I feel like I would do something like that.
Yeah.
How did y'all feel about Robbie's Ed's death though? He just straight up had a heart attack, and that was that.
Yeah, he was
the
old
most
though.
Natural death that we see in the book. 'Cause everyone else dies as a result of like the wishes, but he just straight up dies because of a biological process, and I thought that was like pretty interesting.
I don't necessarily have a favorite character. I think Charles and Ryan did a great job of writing the characters. I was invested in all the characters, even like the villains too. Like, the idea man and but yeah, I think they did a great job.
Yeah. I personally I really like Will. I went back yesterday just to see that entire scene again when he's explaining to Daisy like centuries after G-Day to talk about like, okay, I was the last genie to make a wish during the last event, which meant that I got to be sent down to Earth and live as a human mostly. And he kind of goes through like his like first thoughts of like, okay, well, what do I do with all of this time? And his first one is like, I'm gonna be like indulgent, and I'm going to like explore what it means to have power as a human. And he ends up I think being like Vlad the Impaler,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
which
yeah.
is so funny because like there's so many like vampire,
His head is just
yeah,
there.
yeah, there are like so many like vampire mentions, and like the whole rest of the comic, the fact that he was like, I think the vampire thing started with me. And what also starts with him, because he's like doesn't know what he wants to do, and like the population is growing towards 8 billion quicker than he wants. He starts the plague, and he's like,
Which was amazing.
Yeah, he's like, honestly,
Which
I
is
wasn't proud of that
amazing.
one. I think
Yeah,
it
fair
was
enough.
super interesting that he was going through all of those different ways to be a human being, and it really parallels like all of the wishes we've seen up until that point. Like he's like, oh yeah, I also like spent time getting good at like different like arts and like languages, and
Yeah.
he says a line that I really love, which is like improving at your craft is just a wish being granted in real time, or in slow motion or something. And I think that's really cool. I think a lot of what he goes through, like to explore what it means to be a human, is a lot of what the characters that we follow throughout the whole thing go through in like much shorter time frames.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, very much shorter
yeah.
time frames.
It's-
Yeah, definitely.
It's super fascinating.
As far as like didn't have a favorite character either, but I really enjoyed the concept of the remnants. I thought the remnants was really cool, which again, as we mentioned, it's tied to the person who made the wish. They're not quite the person that was brought back, just like like their memory that's kind of preserved in the being right now. And we see it at the beginning with like Ernest Hemingway, Dorothy Parker, Jim Morrison. And right as Jim Morrison's about to, take the stage, he disappears, and that's when they explain, it's tied to the person that made the wish. So I really enjoyed that, and the fact that Ed, when he wished June back to life, was able to like just keep her around for so long. I thought that was really touching, and that's kind of what really like motivated Robbie to be like, okay, my family's together again. Let's do this. So I really enjoyed the remnant concept.
If y'all could wish for one character, like one person, to come back, right? Not your family, unfortunately.
Like a celebrity?
but like a celebrity.
Oh man, David Bowie.
I was thinking
one.
Bowie
David
right
Bowie.
now. David Bowie.
I didn't
That
even-
or Freddie Mercury, because I feel like
Oh,
Freddie
that's a
Mercury
good
would
one.
Okay,
absolutely thrive.
You do Freddie, I do David. We go out to lunch.
We go out to
perfect.
lunch.
100%.
Go to the Lampwick.
No,
Yeah.
we go thrifting.
Oh
And
my God.
then- well, no, Bowie was
Speaking my
kind of
language.
he had rich taste, so did Mercury.
bougie.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll have to work
Yeah,
on
they
that.
both.
But,
Yeah, they
you know.
both. Yeah.
What about y'all?
I don't know.
I don't know. I suddenly like forgot every celebrity that ever existed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they even still alive? I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Good
the
one.
first
Robin
celebrity
Williams
death that absolutely devastated
Yeah,
me.
Robin
That's
Williams
a
would be
good
good.
choice.
So I also wanted to ask, were there any moments in this comic that were like particularly emotionally impactful for y'all when you were reading? Because I can think of a few.
Start us off.
Yeah, sure. Like you were saying, I mean, that moment where Robbie is standing over like the captain of like the superhero fleet and finds out that he was only 11, and you realize just how many of these different
Yeah.
like superheroes, supervillains must have been just kids, like that was really, really impactful to me. I think in terms of like pure catharsis though, my favorite moment is when the Idea Man goes down to El Futuro, which is another society, and he's like trying to take it over, and all of the kids have like left that society for different reasons, and they're trying to go over and help, and the Idea Man comes down, and he's like, hey, y'all don't have to fight, like I can take y'all under my wing, don't you believe in me? And they kind of start to, and Robbie, who has heard from his mom just before she poofs out of existence that like the Idea Man can't be trusted, has realized for like 25 years he has been manipulated by the Idea Man. He was just a kid, and he's been committing unspeakable violence for this guy. Sees him about to do it again to these kids and grabs him by the face,
Just like punches.
like flies up, and is like, you are not doing this again. You only have one wish because of this whole attack thing. And I know that you're wish locked. You are not going to be able to use it. And he's just like, oh my God, wait, don't you believe in me? And he's like, since my parents died, I don't believe in anything. And he chucks him into orbit. And right before he leaves orbit, he's like trying to make the wish, but he's wish locked and he can't quite get it out. And the genie, who has been following him around and probably hates his guts by this point, is just like, ooh. ooh, too bad, just missed it. And he gets flung into the moon, who eats him. Just pure
The same
catharsis.
one that ate Santa.
Yeah.
Same one
Yeah.
that ate
Man.
Santa.
Yeah.
Pure.
Who
Yeah.
would use their wish for the moon to eat people?
I
That's
would.
pretty.
A Majora's
Me?
Mask fan.
Yeah.
I'm a George Mask fan.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
What
Those,
about y'all?
those are top tier emotional scenes,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. But I liked the end of Betty. Like her, I mean, not Betty. I'm sorry, Daisy. Yes. Like her realizing, everything that she's been through and the fact that she doesn't want to wish. Like leading up to that, the fact that her friends like put together their wishes for her. It's like her whole journey.
Yeah.
She learned her lesson after so many billion years later.
That really was a beautiful scene, especially when you see the genie's like true form, and it's like the beautiful just series of lights, crystallized, or like
Yeah.
Yggdrasil looking tree. That was a really like
That was really cool.
good scene.
I think y'all touched everything. All the emotional scenes that I really liked. I liked the ending. I really enjoyed the ending. But let's do it a 10. Out of 10, what would y'all give 8 Billion Genies?
8. No, I don't know.
Thematically appropriate.
Maybe like a 9. The only gripe I had with it is I wish it was longer. Like I would have loved for it to be longer. See each person's story more in depth. Just give me more. Give me more content.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I would give it a 9 other than that, but like that one point is just like, man, I would have loved to sit with these characters a bit
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Probably an 8, and not just to be on the nose, but like it was really good. I was
Yeah.
invested. I liked it.
What would have made you give it like a 9 or 10?
If there's a character that I really probably like was what, because again I didn't have a favorite character, so maybe if there's like a certain character that was made, that I was like, oh,
Yeah.
them.
I think
Yeah.
also in our ratings, we did to consider that we read it all in one go.
Yeah.
When this was first coming out, it was like a month to month type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But if you are looking for more, and I did forget to mention it in the very beginning, Charles and Ryan, they came out, they expanded their 8 Billion Genie universe. Now they have the Lucky Devils, which their first issue came out January 8th. Sold out. Apparently,
Oh,
That
wow.
first
sold out
issue is sold
apparently.
out. They're doing a
so
second
they're
printing.
doing a reprint now.
Nice.
Which great for them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, it's-
Love it. Hopefully we can review that as well. I would give 8 Billion Genies a 10 out of 10.
Hey.
Personally, because it took me back. It took me back to when I was like in middle school, getting home from school, reading Calvin and Hobbes, listening to the Beatles as well. Like it brought that back, and I appreciate that, and that's why I give it a 10 out of 10. Super creative. I'm excited to read the Lucky Devils. I'm excited for us to talk about the Lucky Devils in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have to.
We do have to. So if you don't have a library card, you want to check this comic out, 8 Billion Genies, register. We have 4 locations here in San Antonio / Bexar County. You can register at a location, or you can register online at BiblioTech.org. It's going to be one of the first tabs. Put some information in. You get your library card, you create your own password, then you have access to everything.
including this comic.
Including this comic, which is available on Hoopla. But with that being said, I think we'll end it there, y'all.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Again, make sure you hit up BiblioTech.org to check out all of our resources. And again, register for a card if you don't have one already, which you should at this point. You've been listening to all of our episodes. Get a library card.
We have a lot of great resources.
Please,
but
yeah.
unfortunately, you don't get a wish. But it's basically like you have a wish, right?
Yeah. If your wish is to have multiple good resources at your fingertips
have
for
more
free,
knowledge.
24/7.
there you go.
Exactly.
That's us.
But yeah, we'll end it here. Thanks for tuning into this episode of BiblioTech on Air. I'm Rosanna,
I'm Israel.
I'm Lewis.
And I'm Ruby.
and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.